welcome to this Bitesize Technical video on the Money Purchase Annual Allowance. I'm Joshua Croft, Senior Technical Consultant here at AJ Bell, and I'll be having a quick look at the rules around the Money Purchase Annual Allowance and how it restricts contributions for those who have accessed their pension savings. The Money Purchase Annual Allowance, or MPAA, was introduced in April 2015 as part of Pension Freedoms. The MPAA is triggered when a member takes pension benefits using flexibilities introduced by Pension Freedoms. It reduces the future pension savings the individual can make under their money purchase or defined contribution pension schemes by reducing the annual allowance available to that member. The following actions or triggers are counted as accessing pension freedoms. These are taking flexi access drawdown pension payments, receiving capped drawdown income above the capped maximum, taking an uncrystallised fund pension lump sum, and receiving your first income payment from a flexible annuity. Taking a scheme pension from a DB scheme or purchasing a lifetime annuity does not trigger the MPAA. Neither does just taking PCLS payment with no income from drawdown. The MPAA will reduce the annual allowance for defined contribution schemes to £10,000. If the member then goes on to make a contribution in excess of £10,000, the excess money purchase savings will be subject to the annual allowance tax charge. Between 2017-18 and 2020-23 tax years, the MPAA was set at £4,000. The current higher limit applies to everyone who has triggered it, so those who triggered it previously and were restricted to £4,000 can now put in £10,000. Once the MPAA is triggered, it's no longer possible to use carry forward in relation to money purchase contributions made after the trigger date. It is, however, still possible to use carry forward to reduce or eliminate the tax charge arising from defined benefit pension inputs and in relation to money purchase contributions in the tax year of the trigger, as long as it was before the trigger date itself. When someone triggers the MPAA, it is only contributions after the trigger event that are subject to the MPAA. The full annual allowance of £60,000 still applies over the tax year in question. When the MPAA is not exceeded, the tax charge will only arise in the usual way if the annual allowance has been exceeded. Let's look at an example. John makes a one-off personal contribution of £30,000, £24,000 net, on the 6th of April 2023. He then flexibly accesses benefits on the 1st of October 2023. He then makes a further personal contribution of £10,000, £8,000 net, on the 5th of April 2024. His total contributions are £30,000 plus £10,000 are tested against the annual allowance. His contributions since the trigger event, £10,000, are only tested against the money purchase annual allowance. Neither allowance has been exceeded, so no tax charge arises. Lastly, anyone who has triggered and exceeded the MPAA will have an alternative annual allowance for any other pension input amounts, for example, accruals in defined benefit schemes. To make sure the same pension input amounts are not subject to a double annual allowance charge, any pension inputs tested against the MPAA are not tested against the alternative annual allowance. For most people, the alternative annual allowance will be £50,000, which is £60,000 annual allowance less £10,000 money purchase annual allowance.